Captain's Log, Supplemental. I've often considered a new crusade to erase the world of made-up beings. It's something that titillates my mind. Like Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and a 100% appropriate for all ages Joe Biden. Maybe I'll do this in 2024. Hello everyone, welcome to the first, I believe, I'm not sure, maybe, kind of, I'm hoping it is the first one I released this year of a Where Are They Now video. Last year and the year before I did this, where I would revisit those I'd already covered and see what they've been up to since the last video I made on them. However, with this particular person, we already have a bit of a snag. So I'm going to compile all the previous videos I've done first, before we see what Colleen Ballinger or Miranda Sings, whichever name you prefer to use, has been up to since that train wreck of a video you see on the screen here. It's done really well on views at least. I mean, that's good, yeah? I wouldn't mind that many views. I just wouldn't want to make a cringy ukulele song to do it. So let us begin by compiling everything that we have done and removing bits that overlap to focus on the newer parts of what is relevant to this story as it unfolded. So yes, I'm going to play all the previous videos. I'll put a timestamp at the top if you don't want to re-watch all of that. The accusations levied against Miranda Sings, or Colleen, are quite serious. On YouTube, there are many ways one can apologize for their poor deeds, badly executed jokes, grooming. Yeah. On YouTube, this idea of an apology has been memed to high heaven because it always follows a structure. A video that is far too long, where the words "I'm sorry" are somewhere in there, but are surrounded by other words explaining and or justifying actions. Not taking accountability, but looking at the camera looking all sad and sorrowful, meaningful, as if the words that are about to exit your gob carry weight and, well, gravitas, oomph as it would be called by the plebeians like myself. In the case of Colleen, that's not what's happened here. Colleen has, well, she's done something, but it doesn't fall into the bracket of a YouTube apology. And I will admit, you get marks for creativity on this one. You lose marks because of the substance of what it is you say. Sorry, sing, that's right. But for this, we need to go through some of the accusations first. And they're quite serious. And I think it right you have the context before we dive into the response. But if it wasn't obvious enough, the response is so bad, so genuinely bad, I have to admit, I didn't think anyone on YouTube would have the balls to do this, but go figure it would be somebody stuck up their own arsehole. So first, the context. On the 13th of May 2020, Colleen Vlogs, put out a YouTube video called Addressing Everything. I couldn't help but notice when I opened the video that the top comment at present is, "Now Colleen went from this to singing a effing song on a ukulele as an apology. What a world we live in, Lamau." Apparently, if you go through comments underneath it, you'll see more people commenting about the song, but others pointing out no stuttering, no crocodile tears, no blaming anyone else, no excuses. This is how you make an apology. Oh, I can't wait to get to the other one. The reason for this apology was for a number of reasons. The first, she and her sister, when they were teenagers, did some Latina stereotypes which are by modern standards considered unacceptable because you're not allowed to do impressions outside of your own race. The second reason was because she fat-shamed somebody. The reason I mention this video explicitly is because every point that she makes from her past where she's done things she now regrets or regretted in 2020, she showed a level of thoughtfulness and sincerity to believe it enough that she was remorseful for her actions. This is important. Okay, I'm not going to play her video, by the way, because I have a sneaky feeling she's trigger happy on the copyright, so I'm going to limit my usage of her content to the more recent one. Adam McIntyre has made a lot of content of late talking about accusations levied against Colleen Ballinger and those that have left the Colleen fandom, as it is dubbed, not a joke. Adam has claimed that Colleen has groomed and used him when he was a minor between 2017 and 2020. So the apology video I just mentioned was 2020. It could have been going on around then, to be honest. In a video from Adam McIntyre titled My Relationship with Colleen Ballinger, he dug into his former relationship with Colleen, exposing her for the manipulation, the using, the grooming when he was just a teenager. Adam says that this one-sided, inappropriate relationship began when he was just 13. Colleen was in her 30s, and that he acted as an unpaid intern for the YouTube for 4 years. Adam has made a number of videos, quite a few in fact, talking about everything, and as is Adam's right, when so much needs to be said from Adam. Of course, innocence until proven guilty, of course, yes, I believe it. How Miranda has responded to this is interesting. These videos from Adam, though, include numerous screenshots of text messages, group chats, DMs, and other media receipts, including audio clips. But this isn't the first time that Adam has come forward with allegations about Colleen. In 2020, when 17 years old, he posted a YouTube video titled Colleen Ballinger Stop Lying. The video detailed how Colleen sent him lingerie when he was underage. At the time, Colleen responded to the allegations in the Addressing Everything video. She claimed the lingerie gift was a joke. I can play that clip.
Someone had made a video saying some shocking and hurtful things about me, and a lot of you wanted me to address it, and I didn't. I didn't address it, not because I was just ignoring it and hoping it would go away, but because when this person messaged me letting me know they were upset, I responded immediately. I was very shocked and confused. I expressed I didn't know what they were talking about, and I also expressed frustration that they were trying to bring my son's name into their drama. Then I received a message from this person's mother asking me to not speak his name. So I was trying to respect the mother's wishes and the parents' wishes of this 17-year-old. The biggest issue that came from his video is that I sent a child underwear, and wow, anyone who heard this out of context and was offended, I completely understand because I would be too. But in this situation, context is everything, so I would like to give you some context to this situation.
Obligatory, remark, because the whole copyright thing. I don't know how Colleen is with the trigger happiness on copyright. So this is here to make it transformative. Here's the context though.
4 years ago, I did a live stream, and in this live stream, I did a giveaway. I was giving away clothes that were unused, tagged still on, brand new, that I had just bought that I did not want. One of the items that was in this box was a really ugly pair of underwear. As soon as we pulled them out, Courtney started laughing and joking around about how ugly they were. Why did I buy these ridiculous underwear? It was so stupid.
I just got a big old box from Forever 21. I want to open it up in front of you guys. Maybe I'll send the ones I don't want to you guys. I got a bunch of crop tops. The panties from
And people started asking for them in the live stream.
What was that bra?
You want the bra?
What was the bra?
At the end of the live stream, I was done giving away clothes, and then this boy who made this video about me recently, he asked for the underwear.
Yeah, we picked people. I think that's enough.
Did that boy win these or not?
I don't know. He has to tell me what he wants.
What did he say?
He said, hi, you have ugly clothes, but I want those ratchet panties and bras signed by Corey because he modeled them well.
Yeah!
It is still remarkably inappropriate to send to a 17-year-old. There is also a belief now that you have framed the context to suit the message you wanted to portray as a simple innocent gag, akin to, it's just a joke, bruh. Right. Well, with other context that we're about to go through, this does not make you look any better. Why do so many large YouTubers live within an echo chamber solely devoted to tunnel vision? So if we put that to one side, we can go to other allegations. Another claim is that Adam and others, when they were just teenagers, were in a private group chat where she would send them sexually inappropriate messages. In one particular text, Colleen appeared to ask Adam, who was 15 at the time, if he was a virgin. She also allegedly asked him what his favourite sexual positions were, as well as requested photos of his bum. Adam also claims in the group chat, Colleen asked a group of teenage girls to share intimate graphic details about their first time they menstruated. Quote, tell me all the thoughts you had when you first got your periods. Please and thank you. Example, I thought I shit myself because the blood was so dark in my underwear. Well, that's not what I want to hear. This is proof of it, by the way, taken directly from Adam McIntyre's Twitter. That group chat, by the way, Colleen was a part of up until very, very recently. You would have thought if she wanted to distance herself from this, she would have left sooner, but then the internet has a funny way of not forgetting things. You send stuff in group chats unless you have the ability to remove the message, i.e. Discord or Twitter, but you can't remove the DM or tweet. Then you can still archive tweets. You're fucked. By the way, when she found out that messages from the group chat were being leaked years ago, she posted this in the group chat. Because of one of y'all is out for my blood, and every time I talk to y'all in here, someone leaks the story like they're working for TMZ. Literally without fail, every time I talk in here, I immediately get people DMing me that I pick favorites, because I talk to you guys so much. So I'm just wondering if I did something to upset you guys. The air of obliviousness. It's quite precious. But just to read some of the messages that are featured from that group chat that have since been released. Adam, y'all, there's a dildo shop behind my hotel. Who wants to get their orders in? Colleen, Adam, lol. Adam, is that a yes? Colleen, no, that's not my thing. Adam, quotes, I have. Colleen, not those. Ugh. Colleen, everyone thinks I love dildos because of that video. That ain't the only sex toy in the world, Henny. Reply, honestly, Queen of Vibrators? Colleen, emoji, I don't know what that is. Adam, yeah, but we know you use handcuffs. We told they are Miranda's? Yeah. Colleen, OMG, y'all are a mess. Eye roll emoji. I'm going to bed, have fun on your vacay, Adam. And then blah 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 blah. On the face of it, by the way, Colleen should never have been in a group chat like this with people so young. There is no way that this makes her look good, and it's very hard to defend her, or for her to defend herself, when she knows she should never have been in that group chat to begin with people who were far too young. So the context is starting to make her look really bad, because while it is all playful in the context of the group, she is still far too old to be fraternizing with children and talking about sex toys. Another allegation is that Colleen has made fun of her fans' mental health and allegedly joked about certain fans' dedication to her, including privately mocking one fan who got a tattoo of her name on their arm. Adam says in his own content that they used to jokingly draw the tattoo design with a Sharpie to make fun of it, and that Colleen would also mock fans after taking photos with them, but would then share the photos publicly while acting like she loved them. A two-faced cow. Shocker. Adam also alleges that Colleen would often body check him. Body checking, by the way, is examining, measuring, or monitoring something related to your body, usually your weight, size, or shape, which can become problematic if the behavior is compulsive and interferes with your ability to go about your daily life. An example of this would be Adam sent a photo of himself at the beach to Colleen via Snapchat. She specifically complimented the parts of his body that were skinny, which resulted in Adam developing self-image issues. Adam also claims that the famous YouTuber would also love bomb him with praise and compliments to make him feel special, so that she could more easily use and manipulate him. Around the 30-minute mark in his video, he shares some text messages and DMs Colleen sent him, referring to Adam as her sunflower, happiness, her everything, as well as applauding the free work he would do for her on social media, tweeting on his behalf and defending her from the haters and criticism. In one private message going so far as to say, "You have a good work ethic, it will take you far." She also emotionally dumped her crap on him in the form of her divorce. Please don't do that. Those that support us, those that help us creators, are not our emotional dumping grounds. They're also people as well. While I like to live with the mantra of no lives matter, I still don't make it a point to emotionally dump anything that bothers me on other people. I'll highlight an issue perhaps, but I don't go into detail on purpose. They are not there to take punishment, are they, Colleen? Adam, who lives in Ireland, claims that Colleen invited him to visit during a trip to Dublin, where she was performing in 2018. At that point, Adam was 14. After making the trip work around his school schedule and asking his parents to drive him to Dublin, which was a 4-hour car ride, Colleen kept changing her planned meeting spot, which resulted in Adam getting lost and behind late. As he was not familiar with Dublin, he felt like she had abandoned him in a city that he knew nothing of, and there's a point there, he's 14, he shouldn't have been left there at all. Because she kept changing the location, they only got to hang out for a few minutes. She then sodded off, which is where he felt she had abandoned him, and there's a point to that. I'm sure some of you are wondering why I'm citing an article and not playing clips from Adam's content. I'm going to link Adam's content down below in the pinned comment. I think you should watch it to get all the context from it yourself. It is vitally important to not only support Adam, but also so you can then come to the conclusion that I've come to, but with your own informed mind, eyes, that thing, right? There are more accusations though, don't worry. For example, Adam claims that when Colleen was about to give up on the Miranda Sings, she asked him to help her with her channel, which he did by coming up with video ideas and ghostwriting for the character on Twitter. In many of the instances where Miranda Sings went viral because of the content, he had actually created or devised it, because if you remember me mentioning earlier, he had access to the Twitter account, which meant he could fabricate things to make the character go viral. She also promised, allegedly, to employ him once he graduated college. But she didn't, yeah. She had said that she didn't like using his creativity and insight for free. Well, about that. Now, another tweet that did cause some controversy, Adam claims that Miranda had Colleen, had scapegoated him because the problematic tweet had backfired. In 2020, the Miranda Sings Twitter account posted a satirical coming out tweet, promising a big announcement, which was actually Miranda Sings simply admitting she was a Meghan Trainor fan. Is that the singer? She was accused of queerbaiting and mocking the LGBTQ+ community. This, because of how Colleen handled it, led to her being accused of gaslighting Adam. And after she was cancelled, she cut him off. In one message, Adam wrote, "Being told by multiple people that you and Colleen's friend Corey have been saying I run a hate account for people that support you, which is really disappointing that your mind goes to that place. I am aware, and so are my parents, and I have screenshots of everything from the past few weeks that Corey has said about me and in relation to you about me in these chats and everything else from before. But never thought you'd stoop to that level, especially due to the 17-year age gap. Talk to me in 16 years if a 33-year-old takes advantage of Colleen's baby, Flynn, the way you have then shit talks them on Twitter. Colleen replied, what are you even talking about? What does Flynn have to do with anything? How dare you bring my son into your drama? I didn't say anything about you, I've never been anything but nice to you. I'm not going to argue with you or talk smack with you, I wish you well and have always appreciated your support, but bringing my son into your drama is way too far. That hyper-focus on one thing is a way of deflecting from the core issue itself. It's a really shitty thing low IQ people do. I'll agree Adam shouldn't have brought the son in for the equivalence part, sure. But for you to understand, you have to see a different picture to be able to see it. Making it a personal connection sometimes help people relate. In this one, you just hyper-focused on it and thought that was the point. It wasn't the point. With enough time passing, more and more people have been coming forward, talking about the toxicity of the Colleen fandom, and how Adam back then was right. Which has, if anything, invigorated Adam to speak out more, show more receipts, provide more information. This is what has led to this, not necessarily downfall just yet, but has led to more attention for Colleen, which in turn is predominantly negative. Now, I've given you enough context. Since this, with all these accusations coming out, Colleen has lost a number of sponsors. Colleen is getting shit from every single corner of the internet. I've seen Rich Lux do a few videos on this as well. I'll link one or two down below as well, because why not? I like Rich. We should now get to how Miranda, aka Colleen, has responded to all of this cancellation, as it were. Because oh boy, this one's different. Should I pull out my ukulele for this too?
All aboard the toxic gossip train. You're chugging down the tracks of misinformation. The toxic gossip train. You got a one-way ticket to manipulation station. Toxic gossip train. Tie me to the tracks and harass me for my past. Cause rumors look like facts. If you don't mind the gaps, I won't survive in the crash, but hey.
Fuck you, you're a fucking wanker, we're gonna punch. Wait, this is the wrong song, isn't it? Wrong song, sorry, wrong song.
At least you're having fun. Hi everyone. I've been wanting to come online and talk to you about a few things. Even though my team has strongly advised me to not say what I want to say, I recently realized that they never said that I couldn't sing what I want to say.
Rather than being pedantic, you should listen to your team. Damage control is very important, but then you start the song with misinformation train and half-truths. Yes, information only skewed to suit a particular bias, essentially. It's not a good look. It looks like a form of victim shaming or blaming. Although at least you're in tune. I'm not a big fan of people playing the ukulele nearer the neck, but that's just me being picky.
Years ago, I used to message my fans, but not in a creepy way like a lot of you are trying to suggest. It was more of a loser kind of way, where I was just trying to be besties with everybody.
I'm going to quote the top comment from your video, because you wrote, rehearsed, sat down to film this, and still thought it was a good idea. There is a level of delusion that even your own team can't help you with.
It's kind of like when you go to like a family gathering, and there's a weird aunt there who keeps coming up to you and going like, hey girl, what's the tea? And you're like, that was me. I've been in group chats with my fans. I've been sharing my life online for over 15 years. I've poured my heart out to you, and because of that I feel like I'm talking to my friends, but in the beginning of my career, I didn't really understand that maybe there should be some boundaries there. There were times in the DMs when I would overshare details of my life, which was really weird to me. I haven't done that for years, you see, because I changed my behavior and I took accountability.
Many people are hard disagreeing with whether or not you took any accountability at all. Of course, how one proves sincerity is a tricky one. If someone has enough receipts, one does call into question the value of your taking accountability video. Additionally, and you're going to do it within this 10-minute song, talk about what your original intentions were. The problem you have is your original intentions were levels beyond naivety. Naivety? Yes, that word. This was beyond stupid.
So let's go on the toxic gossip train. The locomotives fueled with hateful accusations, the toxic gossip train, steamroll over someone's reputation, toxic gossip train. Hop on board but close your eyes, otherwise you'll realize that the train is made of lies, and that person you despise maybe didn't deserve to die, but hey, at least you...
Again, obligatory copyright thing. The thing with this message that we're getting from these parts is that there is no actual addressing the more recent allegations on top of the original from all those years ago, yeah? No, instead it's a case of someone's just trying to ruin my reputation, essentially. That's the message so far. It's not addressing it because a team have told her not to. Well, verbally in word form as opposed to the spoken song part and then the singing song part. The ukulele's saving her apparently from being told off by people that she pays to work for her.
You're having fun. In all seriousness, I do think it's really important to hold people accountable for their mistakes. We should hope that everyone can learn from their mistakes and grow and change their behavior and be a better person. And this is something that I've always tried to do when I make mistakes, and it's something that I will continue to try to do. What? Oh, you don't care? Oh.
I was so tempted to interrupt that and put the I don't care thing in just for a laugh, but then I realised I actually do care. I believe everyone deserves a fair chance to say their piece. However, you've now had your chance to say your piece after the first one. When more has come to light, more has come out. More evidence presented, which you can't really refute because you've left the chats. You're in a position where your way of handling it in this more comedic styling, light-hearted, I guess, and creative as opposed to a YouTuber apology, makes you look very negative. And I'm sure there are many people who will blindly support, but from the outside, I'm not really a part of your fandom. I'm not a hater. I really don't give a crap, to be honest, about your existence. But when someone screws up and handles something poorly, as an outsider looking in, it's very hard to believe you are handling it in this manner, which is remarkably different. I'm going to say different because that's the nicest way I can phrase it.
I thought you wanted me to take accountability, but that's not the point of your mob mentality, is it? No. Your goal is to ruin the life of the person you despise while you dramatize your lies and monetize their demise. Like I can already hear the comments on this video. She's gaslighting, manipulating. Oh, she's a narcissist and a rat. I would never make a mistake like that.
Well, you're partially right. If YouTube does well and truly collapse for you, you can at least start again as a psychic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that all of you are perfect, so please criticize me. Bring out the daggers made from your perfect past and stab me repeatedly in my bony little back. I'm sure you're disappointed in my shitty little song. I know you wanted me to say that I was 100% in the wrong. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna take that route of admitting to lies and rumors that you made up for clout.
Oh boy, this song's getting better. It's getting so much better. But I will admit, I am impressed. I'm impressed at the level of conviction that Colleen is presenting, to have the balls to sit there and write this song, rehearse, record, and present it. It's very brave. I will concede I cannot believe you are 100% in the wrong in every respect. I can agree with that, but I do believe based on what I've seen from Adam's content, there's enough there for you to owe another apology. On the internet, the court of public opinion does generally not offer another chance. So you are in a bit of a bind, you are right, but at the same time, accountability is important. You are refusing to engage in accountability because you believe stoking drama does not lead to a positive outcome. Problem you have is, nor does this.
Hey everybody, I found someone new to harass. She did some things that I do not like in her past. So everybody gather round, cause we're about to attack. But not based on facts, oh no. Your loaded lethal weapon is your fingers on the keys. You don't need any armor when you can hide behind a screen. So shoot me down quick, in the click and bam.
I've cut a small piece out of the next bit because it refers to Miranda sings and the PG rating aspect. I tend to agree that parents are the ones that decide realistically who goes to her shows, who watches Miranda sings, so I don't think it's relevant to include. We'll go to the next bit though, as there's more.
Now, have I made some jokes in poor taste? Yes. Have I made lots of dumb mistakes? Yes. Am I sad that there are some fans who feel betrayed? Yes. But was my intention to manipulate? No.
Does anyone remember earlier where I mentioned typically in the middle of a YouTube apology, there is a part of remorse? Yes. And a vital explanation before and after to justify things or to fob things off, which can then be considered gaslighting, victim blaming, victim shaming. Yeah, that was it. Right in the middle of the video. The only part of remorse is the generic, generalized to those offended, those upset, those hurt.
It doesn't really matter what my intention was, because it seems as though everyone's already decided on that. Let me tell you, it's not very fun to have millions of people all over the world call you the most vile, horrendous, disgusting, life-ruining words that a person can be called, in my opinion. It doesn't matter that these things aren't true. Everyone just believes that you are the type of person who manipulates and abuses children.
So this is the part where I say I don't believe that to be the case, because you have yet to provide your side of any story. You addressed some of this in 2020, yes. And it has been argued quite successfully with enough evidence that perhaps that was not as sincere as you would like to believe it could be. Yes, this song, oh dear, this is not you also addressing it, but you're alluding to it and simply saying that everyone that believes Adam and the others that were formerly of your fandom lack any critical thought or skepticism. The problem is, there isn't any to be had when you refuse to engage. Now, there is a classy way of engaging this. There really is. I'm not suggesting you and Adam get in a boxing ring at all, just in case anyone thought that's where I was going to go. But there are ways of handling this. And you're handling this quite poorly. Not as badly as someone like Illuminati, but it's certainly getting close, isn't it? Now look, I can sit here and play the rest of this song. I really could. But in truth, the rest of it just proves everything I've said so far. Alluding to and then simply shaming anyone that believes Adam because they're simply believing one side and toxicity. It is quite peculiar and very poorly executed. Marks for creativity, of course, and using an instrument, 100%. And yes, I did in fact play my guitar earlier, but how one handles these kinds of tests of one's integrity and then simply deflects in many, many key ways versus view, of course, is a testament to how feeble, fickle, and weak you come across when you do not address something directly, which could resolve the whole bloody issue, really, couldn't it? I had noticed quite a lot of people had done quite lengthy videos covering the Miranda Sings controversy, issues, drama, right? And then Elise Eklund rocks up with a 1-minute 22-second video, amply managing to demonstrate just how embarrassing Miranda Sings' own version of an apology is. Here's a short clip of that now.
I did some really bad things, but it's okay because I say so. You literally can't blame me. I was only 30 years old.
Now, because I've managed to bother to get the extension to allow me to see the dislikes on people's videos, I needed it for the iDubbbz video I did yesterday. I noticed on Miranda Sings video, 76,000 upvotes, which is fantastic. There are that many people gullible enough to listen to your song and think, oh, this is quirky, let me like it. 779,000 people, though, said, "You done fucked it, bitch." And since that video came out, Colleen has lost over 100,000 subs. This sounds eerily familiar to something. The weekly average sub loss is 23,000. Because of that video, Colleen has gotten so far 9 million views. Her views typically center around between 5 and 8 million views. So there has been a bit of an uptick in viewership here. I wonder why. I wonder what would lead people to want to watch a masterpiece. Your strumming was good, even on the neck. That was a bit weird. You had clearly practiced this. It was quite well done, I'll give you that. It is one of the worst received videos in quite some time. You're not quite up there with the YouTube rewind stuff yet, but I'm sure give it enough time, you may well get there. You never know. After the video was put out, Adam McIntyre made a version of it of his own, with an instrument, played badly, but it was very amusing to see the parody aspect, even if the cringy delivery can be a little off-putting. But many people memed the crap out of this because this is taking YouTube apologies to that next level. The arrogance, the inability to introspect or accept responsibility, believing yourself an authority because Stone Cold said so. That was the level we were dealing with in that video. And since the video is still up at time of recording, and Colleen has not posted anything to that channel since the high video, one can safely assume she is now listening to people who are telling her, "Get off the internet, gamer girl. You're get good, higher PR. When we do damage control, you're gonna lose more subs. Just remember this." Don't be too surprised if she employs the tactic of Illuminati by taking it to a courtroom with cease and desists to any party involved that have called her out. Although, how one does that when many of the parties involved are in different countries is interesting. It's almost a mystery at this point, right? Yeah? No? Very well. So let's continue the story after I've played a short clip of Adam McIntyre's video.
I'm glad you're able to look at this as a break, because you've made my life hell for 3 years.
So a lot of people are saying some things about me that aren't quite true.
Literally what was not true?
All aboard the toxic gossip train.
So now we're getting on a train.
On the 30th of June 2023, an article via You Owe Me an Apology titled On Cancel Culture, Accountability and Being in the Writer's Room with Miranda Sings, written by April, and I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Oh, hello, meow. You're not gonna meow anymore? You'll meow once though for the attention. Who's your kitty you are? Yes, you're getting a random kitty intermission, folks. The article starts by saying this post is going to be different than my other ones. So before I get into it, I just want to state for the record, the following post details my personal experience while working on Haters Back Off, and more broadly my opinions on working in less than ideal creative workplace environments over the years. While I cannot speak to the allegations against Colleen, I stand with every single one of the children and young adults who have bravely shared their experiences in the past few weeks. The article talks about Haters Back Off, which was a show featuring Colleen Ballinger as Miranda Sings. The show itself only ran for 2 seasons, but that was typical for the type of content and format at the time on the platform it was on. Despite my legacy of being extremely online, trademark, I was not that familiar with Miranda Sings. I remember the night before my first day on the job, I clicked on her YouTube channel and watched video after video in pure confusion. Is this supposed to be for kids? She was dressed like Bozo the Clown, which kept making odd jobs about being molested, and in one clip I saw her on stage encouraging what appeared to be a small child to literally reach into her pants and rummage around for a bit. The article continues by talking about the daddy saddle and the special relationship of Miranda and Uncle Jim. Yes, this being the compromising positions between Miranda and Uncle Jim that looked like moments of intimacy. The point of it was to make Uncle Jim look even more, well, like a predator. As you go further down the article, there are some messages from the 28th of March 2016, and they read as follows. We're rewatching auditions from earlier this morning, watching the tape of this black actor who is very fine by the way. But anyway, the lighting wasn't great and Colleen just shouted out loud, "Where is he?" implying he is so dark-skinned he disappeared. 1.
You can totally see him.
It was just overcast this morning. The fuck. 2. Black is beautiful. 3. Get me the out of here. The writer continues by talking about how hard it was to work around Colleen because she would make biting comments about people around her, and since you all had to thank her for your jobs, you were forced as a worker to go with it. She saw no issue with commenting on people's hair, clothes, asking about their personal lives. Boundaries were non-existent, something we discussed in the last video, her inability to know where the line is, while simultaneously performing the emotional labor of counseling her through marital concerns. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? What kind of creator dumps all their personal problems onto everyone else as if you are her muse? She once bragged that a creator was being cancelled for saying the N-word. They allege that she didn't say N-word though, she went with hard R. Not that she'd ever be stupid enough to get caught doing something like that. In her show, she gave the writer of the article the honour of being a character, a villain at Miranda's school, who thought she was better than everyone else because she was a Christian, which is totally original. One of the more apt sentences near the end of the article I want to finish with on this part before we move on. The truth is there are real people who have real experiences that have affected them a great deal, and there are narcissists who choose to cover their ears and look the other way. That sounds very familiar. for someone who espoused the toxic gossip train as the mob that was trying to cancel. Interesting, right? Well, let's continue because something really damning has come to light. This is the part of the video where I now insert Trisha Paytas, who put out a video titled Colleen. This is bad. There are some tweets though that summarize, but we're going to go to the video as well. Repzilla, Colleen Ballinger, aka Miranda Sings, was just exposed for breaking federal law and sending unsolicited, inappropriate images of Trisha Paytas to minors. On other occasions, she was having watch parties of Trisha's SW releases. WTF. SW, I believe, is sex work. Spanky, or Swoop, just watched Trisha's video given the staggering new information that's been sent to me, as well as all that comes out publicly this week. That's come out publicly this week. You can probably guess that my 2-part docuseries just turned into 3. Yay. Adam McIntyre. So let me get this straight. Colleen
blamed
me
yet again
in 2023 to Trisha Paytas for stuff
she did
to try to get out of responsibility. You're sick, Colleen. Actually a sick F, and you deserve all the negativity. Retweeting someone called Jay, who said the fact she tried to blame you and say you sent it is proof she's the one that sent it. With Colleen just confirmed by trying to blame me that she would send pornographic content to a 14-year-old Adam. She tried to shift blame, but in process didn't realize she was admitting to the
crime
she committed. Johnny Silvestri, proof of Colleen and her friends having viewing parties for Trisha's content. She's a subscriber now. In that is a video. And a picture. It's nah fam, nah, this ain't good. We need to go to Trisha's video, don't we? Because Trisha has a few things she needs to say.
Me and Colleen started a podcast this year. We were always friendly before. I think it shocked a lot of people because like, oh, I didn't know they were close friends like that. And the thing is we weren't close friends. We were friends. I considered us to be friendly. When I had my daughter, she reached out. And I wasn't aware of these most recent things that are coming out. Everyone knows I have a very, very, very firm stance on talking to anyone underage, platonic or not. I've always been very, very firm with this, that I think it's inappropriate.
This is an obligatory interruption because of fair use. I cannot continue to use her content that I've cropped a little out of after boosting the audio quite a bit. I do want to point out though, something of interest, and that is from watching this, the level of sincerity you get from Trisha in this is worlds away from the character I have seen over the years. And that, while some will say, oh, this is just another part of the character, it should be an indicator as to just how serious Trisha takes this.
And I hate putting any energy into this, but it's very, very serious. It's very serious. And it's a topic I don't take lightly and I can't take lightly, as I am a full-time sex worker. I don't think that's a secret. And so I need to nip this in the bud, that I do not condone at all unsolicited nudes, sending unsolicited nudes to anyone of anybody.
Part of me had wondered if any of it could be proven. What kind of trouble would Colleen be in legally? Because I'm English, this is not my area, if she is found to have actually done this. Of course, presume innocent until proven guilty, of course. The evidence, though, is quite damning.
And these weren't a long time ago. This is someone well into their 30s, just gave birth sending nudes. And a month prior, I was in her house meeting her child and doing a mukbang, meeting her newborn and doing a mukbang with her. But I kind of gave her outs because I was like, hey, like, you talked crap about me, that's fine. We weren't that close back then, I guess, like, you know, whatever. And she vehemently denied, no, I never sent pictures of you. Like, the underage fan would send me pictures of you, not specifying if they were nude or not.
Trisha Paytas' video is 21 minutes 29 seconds long. I feel it right to now tell you, you should watch the entire thing from start to finish to get the full context and understand just how much this hurts Trish. Understandably so, they had formed a friendship for her to then feel that it was a lie and be put in a position where it looks like she has been shamed by Colleen, somebody she has considered now a closer friend, but also someone that she's going to do or is doing a podcast with, is not a great look or feel for anyone. I am going to link Trisha's video down below in the pinned comment with a few other sources of other related videos, but Trisha's video will be first. Highly recommend, because this does not help Colleen in the slightest. It really doesn't. If she's on damage control and it's not publicly seen, the damage control is going to be for naught. It really is. Trisha Paytas has received a mountain of support in her comments to the tune of 11,609 comments at time of recording, the vast majority of which are incredibly supportive of her content, her work outside of YouTube. And if any of what she has said is true about her principles, her morals, then she's already held to a higher standard by herself than the very person she is criticizing in this video. I hadn't expected that with Colleen Ballinger, with what was coming out, more and more information would come to light that would paint quite the damning picture. And I say that because of my own naivety. I thought perhaps she would get ahead of the curve, address it, maybe even start false flagging people. I thought perhaps a cease and desist would happen before more people scrutinized her content from the past, delved into what she has produced over the years, and really given it a going over. The problem Colleen has now is her own career is evidence of a number of things. Inappropriateness, and when you add children to the mix, the line in the sand is very much drawn. It is very deep, and it is quite thorough, thick, intense. So what is happening now with the artist formerly known as Miranda Sings is, she is suffering the consequences of her past. When she addressed it by gaslighting in the form of a song, when she addressed it by saying, "You don't know all the story, but I'm not going to tell you all the story," which led to more people responding by memeing her, of course, with ukuleles of their own or guitars, because guitars are superior, yes, it only served to make her look even worse. Not that that's possible until people started to scrutinize the content, and then they realized, oh whoa, what do we have here? So what we're going to do, we're going to go through what people have been presenting on social media after taking the time to be the intrepid investigator to look into some of Colleen's past content, actions, novels, shows, all that jazz, and see what's what, and whether or not a warning sign sooner would have been beneficial or not, or whether or not the enabling should have been perhaps considered carefully. So the first thing I want to look at is a tweet from Pop Crave. Video of Colleen Ballinger performing Single Ladies by Beyonce in blackface has surfaced. The YouTuber was recently accused of engaging in racist behavior on set of her Netflix series Haters Back Off. This particular story goes a bit deeper, but I'm going to play the clip first before we get into this part. So odds on that ukulele getting a Take 2 electric boogaloo? Anyone? And this one might want to highlight it, the audience reaction to this performance. Part of me thinks that the entire reason the audience was responding the way it was because the dancers behind, those blokes got moves, yo. A Twitter user by the name of Yikes had responded to this tweet by saying, and this one on TikTok from user and then including their name. What? Included is a video which I'm going to play, but there are aspects of it we do need to, for the sake of intellectual honesty, highlight. Because I do believe Colleen did apologise for stuff she had done with her sister, but I don't know the exact timeline of when some of these clips came out.
Hola, Margarita. I am Rosa. This is my cousin. We work at the taco together. Of course, but I am soon to be a manager. She just got promoted to the drive-thru, so she talks to the people. Your eyebrows look especially good today. I know today is because I have like the natural hair coming. Did you? You're like looking at your own image and it's like funny. Jason, I'm looking at myself because I think I look pretty today. Man, I am so good. Look at how even my eyebrows are today. Your eyebrows look really good.
Because honesty is important, I'm going to play the clip from Colleen's Addressing Everything video here, where she talks about that clip before I play you the rest of the TikTok in question.
Video has resurfaced of my sister and I from 14 years ago. We were teenagers, and in this video we are doing characters that are Latina. And the characters are completely based on racial stereotypes. It is not funny, and it is completely hurtful. I am so ashamed and embarrassed that I ever thought this was okay.
Ay, Chichin, yo quiero Taco Bell. Shh, don't speak Squanto. I'm hungry.
We'll just move
Spanish
on.
is easy. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
That's a stereo.
We are going to go back, or circle back, to the accusation of blackface from the Single Ladies performance, but we're going to continue the timeline of events first before we get to it. Swoop on Twitter tweeted officially cancelled due to unforeseen circumstances. The Miranda Sings featuring Colleen Ballinger show scheduled August the 10th has been cancelled. A quote. And so it begins. How's that cancelled bit in your show working out now? I was thinking more the merch. Wasn't she selling cancelled merch? It was very poor taste. I know we all like to make light of situations that could otherwise harm us by perhaps showing we are a bit more inclined to humour. But Colleen's handling of the situation when there's apparently a team around her has been quite laughable. Linked in that tweet is thesheldon.org, where it shows ticket prices and other such nonsense. The description has the very quote from the tweet, with MetroTix also offering a full refund to the credit card used for the original ticket purchased. It then gives a synopsis of Colleen Ballinger, which might be a bit out of touch now, by humble bragging about all her accomplishments. Since many people are now looking at those accomplishments and trying to determine if any of them are worth celebrating, no being the answer for the majority, I'm not entirely sure why that still exists there, but I guess someone was too lazy to go in and simply delete that part and just leave the due to unforeseen circumstances. The Miranda Sings featuring Colleen Ballinger show scheduled for August 10th has been cancelled. Interesting. By the way, just because I know for the sake of optics you can't really go into detail about what's happened, we all know what really has happened. She's been accused of manipulating minors, gaslighting, bit of inappropriate behaviour, and by a bit I mean a considerable amount, using her audience to emotionally dump on them. This sounds very familiar. A lot of people do that. I still don't quite understand why so many people do it and think that it's okay. There are levels of tragic I don't think are remotely acceptable. But this here is a direct consequence of actions. I've been teaching my nieces for years what consequences are, positive and negative, and why some experience more negative than positive. If you continually choose to do the wrong thing, can you truly be surprised when by doing all those wrong things over and over again, your situation does not at any point improve? Or if anything, it gets worse to the point you start to lose things that you love, you enjoy, you cherish. In this case, everyone knows Colleen Ballinger loves to perform on a stage with an audience, feed off that emotion that you get from them to put on the best show so they can enjoy it. She built up a huge following on YouTube and managed to transcend a bit to the live stage. To lose that now in the form of one show isn't good, because others may follow suit in quick succession. So now we're going to circle back to the accusation of blackface with the video from Rich Lux, titled Colleen Ballinger
Lawyer Speaks Out.
I like caps. It gives me an excuse to use that voice. In this, we get an explanation as to why she was wearing what appeared to be blackface during that performance, because some are now doing a form of damage control and we're getting some answers. However, many do not believe. Seriously, it's the internet. But I'll play the relevant clip from Rich's video now and I'll link it down below if you want to watch the entire thing.
Colleen Ballinger's lawyer spoke out today. Her legal team posted this. Colleen Ballinger was wearing green face paint while singing Beyonce's Single Ladies in resurfaced video, not blackface. her legal rep says. Followed by, according to Ballinger's legal representation, the suggestion that she was performing in blackface is false. Now, one of the victims, Adam McIntyre, tweeted out and said this: legal teams can't disprove hard facts and evidence, which is why they are only responding now to one claim that was proven to be inaccurate. I like to see her legal team address everything else.
In the context of that, Adam is right. One of the comments, though, underneath Rich Lux's video sheds additional light on this. The fact she placed the Single Ladies dance directly after the Wicked number was tactical. This is how you work a get-out-of-jail-free card into the foundation of doing blackface. There is absolutely no organic reason for her to have a costume change ready to be Beyoncé, with thick dark makeup accidentally still on her face and a lighting change to confuse the visuals. This girl thinks she's so clever, but her cruelty is visceral and her bigotry is well planned and executed with fine print prepared from jump. With many replying to that there's a point there because there's a costume change involved. How they didn't think to wipe that crap off her face is a bit of a mystery. Air quotes around the word mystery. And Adam McIntyre is quite right. This has been, to an extent, debunked. It is not blackface, no. But something about this reeks of wrong. We'll concede. But nothing has been said about any of the accusations levied at Colleen from those that were minors when she was 30, a mere young 30 years old, talking to them inappropriately. Later on in this video, he includes a clip of PewDiePie talking about this. And I thought I'd play a short clip of that as well before we continue.
Like something years ago, and then now
yeah,
I'm just confused by it, and I can't be bothered to look into it.
It's so deep. Like, there's multiple hour-long videos of like just showing like all these receipts and talking about what she's talking about and stuff like that. So it did come up years ago, and then it got kind of like, you know, everyone's like, whatever. It got squashed, but now it's come back again.
Okay.
But like I said, there's all these receipts and everything, but never addressed it until now. And she pulls out a ukulele, right?
Yeah.
And so I did a video about it. And at the end of the video, I'm like, you know what? She should have just messaged Felix, the professional. I had to give an apology.
Rather amusingly, the defense lawyer who's representing Colleen Ballinger is Andrew Brettler, whose more notable high-profile clients include Danny Masterson and Armie Hammer. Danny Masterson was recently found guilty of sexual assault, okay? And Armie Hammer, oh boy. That's not to say they're not a good defense lawyer, only that is who she's going with. And no, I have no intention of poisoning the well or misleading, gaslighting, or anything like that. I'm just pointing out who it is that she has representing her. Oh, and he represented Prince Andrew. That's a good sign. Alright. Via PopCrave, we have confirmation that her legal representatives have not addressed any of the other allegations against her. I do wonder if it's because they have no leg to stand on, or, if it is possible, they just haven't had enough time to look into it yet. Focusing instead on other parts first that they know they can debunk. It is, for PopCrave's tweet, with that line in it, the most important part of the entire article they link, because not addressing the more recent stuff is what got people to search through the past in the first place. This could have been nipped in the bud if Colleen wasn't so high on that horse, and if she hadn't worked so hard to write, rehearse, record a explanation with the ukulele. On Twitter, Swoop put out a rather important statement that is worth adding here. A thread on Colleen and blackface. In light of the back and forth about paint, I'm hoping we can recenter the conversation on the victims. Adam, Becky, Alex, Johnny, Oliver, Ella, and voices like April, and countless others who've come forward privately. Let's continue to lift them up. A few of the victims in the Colleen story have clarified they do not believe this to be blackface. Included the video with context just to demonstrate how it's not. Swoop continues to talk about the video that Colleen and her sister made with Hispanic stereotypes, which Colleen, as I have shown, had spoken about before. 4. A mountain of evidence exists that shows Colleen acting inappropriately with minors, animal cruelty, weight shaming, and being racially insensitive. In my opinion, we can and should talk about this, while also doing due diligence with details in claims made against her. In efforts to try to recenter the victims, here are some of their thoughts about the blackface, greenface claims, with the thread finishing by showing what Johnny says, Becky says, Alex, and Adam says. This is vitally important for a level of intellectual honesty. Even those that have spoken out against her about other things say, no, that's not blackface. I don't think it is either, to be honest. I just think it's incredibly poorly timed on her part to dim the lighting to make it look a certain way, imply, infer something, which is pretty crappy, I will admit. It's a rare occurrence where I'm on the side of H3H3. It really is. How badly have you handled a situation that's your go-to? But we'll get to that soon, don't worry. We'll do some updates first and then hopefully get right back on that aforementioned toxic gossip train. If you do require a breakdown of what has happened so far, I'm going to link all 3 videos that I've done so far on Colleen, or Miranda Sings, in the pinned comments down below. They're highly relevant to understanding the timeline of events, and I do firmly believe in a less is more approach. Unless something really interesting and tasty drops, or happens, occurs, materializes, I generally make it a point not to make too many videos. So I'm kind of hoping this is the last one until December, but you never know. Some people really don't know when to stop, and it invariably leads me to making additional videos which could actually be beneficial to when we do a Where Are They Now in December. Yes, she and Illuminati are definitely getting one. It makes perfect sense. Oh, the suffering. For this video, we're going to act as if you have seen the earlier 3 videos and continue the story as is. So Ethan Klein on Twitter tweeted, Colleen Ballinger uploaded Toxic Gossip Train to CD Baby and is claiming us. Included are 2 images. The first, the copyright itself, but the monetization is sharing. Sharing revenue with the music rights holders, which is quite uncommon I've found when people claim my videos. They usually just claim the whole thing as if they're entitled to my hard work and the snippet I use of their work, which usually falls within fair use. Underneath, revenue sharing, but also a timestamp. Now, generally speaking, 30 seconds is fair use at most, but in the context of what this is, that's actually not bad. It's a massive show. And then before someone drops a spoiler in the comments, but this is fake! Shut up. Some stories have to be told as the time unfolds. Alright? Jumping to the end deprives others of the complete context. Rivet Sorrow on Twitter tweeted, Toxic Gossip Train removed from Apple Music. Colleen Ballinger's legal rep says she did not upload the song. Included a bunch of hashtags and a video. Here's a clip of that.
The song is no longer attached to her profile and has now been removed, which is true because I can no longer find it on Apple Music. I don't know how it works on the artist side of things, but I'm pretty sure not anyone can just upload a song under any artist's name. So what's the real tea here? Because she definitely is still copyright claiming people on YouTube. If Colleen didn't do this, who did? My theory is that she did it without seeking advice from her legal team. Just like she said in her ukulele Toxic Gossip Train video, she was going against the advice of her team when she posted that. So maybe something similar happened when she shared the song on iTunes and Apple Music.
Team Colleen on Twitter, because there is a Twitter for this, said that Colleen Ballinger has now taken Toxic Gossip Train down from Apple Music. Colleen's legal reps tell Popcrave the song was originally uploaded by someone not affiliated to Colleen or her team. There's a lot of capital letters for every word here. I'm not sure how I feel about it. And just for the sake of transparency, here's the Popcrave tweet in question. Many call into question, within the replies of the Popcrave tweet, and who uploaded it? Because that's an important question to ask. I don't know how that system works, I really don't. So whether you can attach something to someone's profile is unknown to me, but I'm sure one of you lovely, lovely people, hello, can tell me. And I just want to add, if there's a chance you can make money off that, why not? Because you're not going to be making as much off YouTube for the time being, are you? You may as well take full advantage of that. I did go and look at the Colleen Ballinger News Twitter account, talking about how certain music has been released on Apple Music. Yes, at that point, no one knew if Colleen had uploaded it, and that she has been deleting Instagram posts, which I'm not going to show you because it involves a child as well. I'm not that guy, alright? But back to Ethan Klein's tweet, some of the replies to that are quite interesting. The Act Man, YouTuber copyright claiming their own apology video is a whole new level of degeneracy I never thought possible. And to be fair, it's not royalty-free music and you played the whole song, what did you expect? There's a point there, because while the timestamp of the image claims for a period of time, if you actually go to watch the stream, it doesn't play it in its entirety without stopping or adding to it. Adding any commentary to a song is vitally important. Whoever flagged it, Colleen or other, maybe it was Miranda Sings, eh? Right? That's the get out of jail free card. It's a fortuitous one, right? I guess by that extension, if I ever get caught flagging, which I won't because I don't, I could always claim, but it wasn't this. It wasn't Homelander or Moistlander. No, it was Aquameg. Aquameg? No, it was Judge Moist. No, it was Moist Windu. See what I mean? just a thing I'll never flag, and I won't copyright claim anyone because I'm above that. So next to enter this list would be Emily D. Baker, who I love, seriously, who tweeted, "Sometime overnight, Interstreet Recordings for Colleen Ballinger copyright claimed my members only livestream from Wednesday for revenue sharing. Who else has been claimed? Has H3 Podcast's claim been released yet? Included are 2 images. The first shows that monetization is turned off, the copyright owners, Interstreet Recordings on behalf of Colleen Ballinger and all the countries that the revenue is being shared in, which is basically all of them. And much like with the H3 podcast, commentary was added during the song, yet they've claimed 30 seconds, which means it fell within fair use in the first place. The second image is just a better image of what's happened here." Emily also continued by saying, "I would dispute it to see how long it takes to be withdrawn. Update. Ballinger's lawyer responded to me stating neither our law firm nor anyone else submitted acting on behalf of Miss Ballinger submitted copyright infringement claims in connection with the video or song referenced in your email. Y'all, I really want to know if this is a situation like Bungie, don't know who that is, where someone is gaming YouTube, or if this is her reps claiming videos for rev share. I have so many questions and I have asked her lawyers for comment." Electric Mac reply. Based on this tweet, the copyright claim was dropped. Included Ethan Klein, Colleen, or whoever was impersonating her dropped the claim. Emily replies, "Interesting, so their claim was dropped while their new claims are still being made." Emily did later on tweet out an update, and you've seen the first part, this part, yeah, but I'll go to the next 2 parts. "I contacted DistroKid for comment as their copyright claims appear as Interstreet Recordings. Y'all, what is happening? I want to know how the DistroKid system works. How do they know those using their system are the copyright holders when claiming monetization sharing? Are there checks to make sure?" Swoop replied, "Hey at Team YouTube, this is clear copyright abuse. Can you please help Emily D. Baker and investigate Interstreet Recordings for this system abuse?" Emily replies, "I'm not worried about the claim on a video that's not monetized. I want to know how copyright claims are getting made without the rights holder's approval. I wonder if it's the claiming companies having limited standards to determine who owns the rights." Owing to the fact that to watch that stream you have to be a member, I'll link her channel Emily D. Baker's down below. Her coverage of many legal aspects is quite good, high standard, and very entertaining. Ethan Klein tweeted out Ethan's basement. "Hey at H3 Podcast, Colleen's lawyer thinks I'm you and sent me a cease and desist email asking for Mr. Klein. What should I tell them? Cheers my dudes. Love ya." Ethan responded, "I'm assuming this is fake until I see it. I can't imagine her lawyers would be dumb enough to send it to a fan channel. But if it is real, let's go." Emily D. Baker, oh boy, with replies, "What do you think about Colleen's lawyers trying to deny that Colleen was the one who uploaded her ukulele song, not ukulele song, and are now allegedly sending out cease and desists?" Reply, "If she didn't upload them, or someone from her company didn't upload them on her behalf, I will be interested to see what actions are taken against the companies that allowed this to happen and the company claiming copyright and seeking a monetization split on her behalf." Ethan later retweeted the Ethan's Basement tweet he put out with, "It's real, crying laughter emoji. Are you out of your mind? A cease and desist?" First of all, it went to the wrong thing. I mean, it's hilarious it went to a fan account. That's cool. If anything, that's even funnier. But to do it to H3H3 thinking it was H3H3? Or did you think by going after a fan account, punching down another Illuminati tactic, would somehow make you look better by scrubbing it from those who are, let's say, not as big as the likes of H3H3? On the face of it, a cease and desist is one of the dumbest, most cowardly things you could do, because you haven't gone after anyone that has, let's say, called you out because you've affected them directly, like Adam McIntyre. No, I wonder why that is. It seems to be that it's only the song, the ukulele song, not ukulele, those individuals that you've dubbed haram, 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 but are small enough, unverified perhaps, that it doesn't matter too much, right? Okay, that makes no sense. Especially if you go to the Ethan's Basement YouTube channel and realize they've not done any content on you, because that's not the kind of content they make. They do content on the law of Ethan Klein. I'm not even joking. Whoever did that, right, the cease and desist, or thought Ethan's Basement was the right way to go about it, is a complete and utter moron. Ethan Klein naturally did a H3 podcast on this. Yep, After Dark episode 111. And yes, Ethan was very happy about this. understandably so. But owing to the fact it would take me far too long to play clips of that, I'm just going to play a clip from Rich Lux.
Dear Mr. Klein, our law firm is litigation counsel to Colleen Ballinger. We are writing regarding a recent episode of your podcast in which you falsely reported that Miss Ballinger submitted a copyright claim based on your prior use of her song. So they're saying that he falsely reported. But this is very interesting because Ethan Klein says he didn't falsely report. Here we go.
You also falsely reported that Mrs. Ballinger uploaded the song to CD Baby for sale. Neither of those statements is true, nor do you have any information support to make those claims on your podcast. Well, that's not true. I do. In fact, I tweeted it out. And these guys really... Colleen, I don't know what you're paying them, but they're not doing enough. Let me go back. Literally from YouTube, here's what I got. It says, Toxic Gossip Train, okay, Colleen Ballinger. This is literally from YouTube. On behalf, CD Baby, on behalf of Colleen Ballinger. Now, if there's a problem with this, which, by the way, I was very upfront in saying it's a strong possibility that she's not even responsible for that. So I feel like I was fairly gracious and fairly truthful in terms of the potentiality that this was actually her. And frankly, I want the truth too. I don't want her to being blamed for something she didn't do.
Which is a completely fair and honest position to hold. He's also not telling a lie, and that's important here. Sending the cease and desist first to the wrong person, but then to make the claims that have been made in that letter are redundant, and also show a level of ignorance from the legal team of Colleen Ballinger. I will link, for those who are interested, Rich Lux's video, the H3 podcast in question, and Adam McIntyre's response to this down below. You should check it all out if you want all the additional context. I do believe I've managed to condense it down, which is normally what I do. I am keen to see how this unfolds, of course, many people are. But if Colleen is involved in this, she needs to stop. But I do tend to agree with H3 here. It's highly unlikely, but if she did, it's even worse, quite frankly. And she must now know this. You dig a hole, it's not a toxic gossip train, it's a toxic gossip that you created, hole in the ground. On the 17th of July, Vangelina Skov on Twitter had tweeted, or X, "My unlisted video has been copyright claimed allegedly on behalf of Miranda Sings. The clip being used is both transformative and being used for commentary purposes. Included is an image, which is an email that she had received. A copyright owner using content ideas claimed some material in your video. Claimed by Awesomeness TV. How cringe." Vangelina though did underneath put, "Can't imagine why she might want to claim a video of her calling a Native American her pet." Dustin Daly did offer some clarity by pointing out Awesomeness TV is a company Trisha Paytas used to use. They always violate fair use. There are a few companies like that on social media. I'm not overly fond of them. Shortly after this completely pointless copyright claim, Vanity Fair had published an article where the lawyer for Colleen Ballinger had addressed some of the accusations, right? It wasn't very good, and it essentially defamed Adam McIntyre. I'm going to play a clip from Rich Lux that adequately conveys that.
Allegations against Ballinger getting similarly ushered into the mainstream press. A few days ago, the Rolling Stone piece went live. HuffPost published its own investigation report. Her fans say she groomed them as teens. In the ensuing weeks, Ballinger would be accused of everything from performing a Beyonce song in blackface, as Miranda sings, to texting a sex worker's nude photo to a minor. Ballinger's legal team has denied she performed in blackface, saying she was wearing green face paint for a prior cover of a song from Wicked. Her Sings tour has since been canceled. Her career abruptly stalled when reached out for comment. Ballinger's lawyer responded in an email that Vanity Fair inquires were simply a regurgitation of the baseless and unsubstantiated claims that other media outlets and individuals on social media have reported previously. Adam McIntyre responded. Here's what he had to say. The article is laughable. The journalist is working closely with Colleen Ballinger's lawyer, and the journalist is on the record lying about information about me that is proven I told the truth about. They quote things against me that I have shown video proof of and text proof journalism moment. And of course, the Vanity Fair article says this. It says, one can look at the devolution of the Miranda Sings empire and see that the longer it drags out, the harder it is to pin down the exact truth.
Swoop on Twitter responded to this by retweeting Adam McIntyre. Just want to take a moment and lift up Adam McIntyre, who has been steadfast in sharing his story, which he never had to. with openness and vulnerability. For a publication to ignore that and not even reach out for comment is just sad. Good to see the community pulled together. The image Adam McIntyre had tweeted was the Vanity Fair tweet of the article itself. Readers added context. Colleen Ballinger's inappropriate sexual and offensive behaviour is in her content and live shows. Adam McIntyre's claims have been verified by witnesses. Other people have come forward with their experiences with her. The evidence intensified because of her response song. If you don't know the song, it's The Toxic Gossip Train. It wasn't a very good song, although I will give her a small modicum of credit. She knows how to play ukulele. That's all the credit she gets, because that's just the musical part, not the lyrical part. Yes, although the lyrical part was semi-musical as well. Don't be pedantic. Get over yourselves. Focus on the points. Thank you. Now, as far as any kind of timeline goes, we skip ahead a month to about a week ago. And at this point, on both the Miranda Sings and Colleen Vlogs channels, there has been no content. But it is amusing to me that the Toxic Gossip Train video is still up, and it has 14 million views, 1.9 million downvotes, and 142,000 upvotes, which is quite generous, yes. With one of the more recent comments that tickled me to no end, "You have helped me through so much. Ignore everybody else and listen to me. You are amazing. And if some things were pulled from your past that were said wrong, who cares? You have done more good than anybody I have ever met in my whole life. If all of the top comments are mean, I hope that you find just this one, and you get off your device knowing that you are an amazing human, that so many humans love and adore so much. I hope that one day when you are more comfortable, that you will continue to make YouTube videos because they help me so much. I'm so glad you made this video. I love you. Get help." On the 17th of August 2023, Swoop put out a video titled "The Devil in Colleen Ballinger's Shadow. He Lied to Everyone. Downfall." In the comments to that, Joshua DTV wrote, "My admiration for you extends well beyond this moment and this situation. You've given me back a significant portion of my life. I was, that word I can't say, and became a laughingstock to thousands. You took my grief seriously and guided me in ways that I'm still processing." Swoop's video is almost 4 hours long. In that, she interviewed Joshua Evans. The interview itself, according to Swoop on Twitter, went for 7 hours, with every question that could be conceived being asked. Earlier in that video, she speaks about Johnny Silvestri. Johnny Silvestri can charitably be considered a crisis actor in this. Somebody who falsified evidence while simultaneously making allegations of inappropriateness, participating in the very thing accusing people like Colleen of. Johnny Silvestri is such a shitty individual. He has participated in what can be called revenge porn, taking Trisha Paytas' own content from OnlyFans, downloading it and sharing it with others. Those others happen to be minors. This same cretin was calling Joshua David Evans a groomer with no evidence, and depending on who Johnny was talking to, he changed his story to make it even more convoluted, complicated, murky, grey. With Swoop's video dropping, Joshua put out a statement on Twitter saying, "Lily and Jesse, you treated me like garbage even after I pleaded privately, publicly for you to at least consider giving me a voice. I tried for days. You rolled your eyes and didn't do your homework. You didn't care how his words would impact my life. You wanted the tea and the clicks, that's it. Your attitude was disrespectful and reckless. Your channel and intentions are literally the polar opposite of Swoop and her team. You are a prime example of why people in my shoes rarely speak up or get justice. Hope you enjoyed the money your ridiculous videos made you before you removed them. Also, I saw your statement. Funny how my name wasn't in there at all. Shame on you both." Reply: "Are we going to call out H3 too, or just these two? I am sure a statement is coming, but Jesse is in the middle of the ocean, and everyone believed what Johnny said until Swoop's doc came out, which is unfortunate, but it happened." Reply: "H3 didn't roll their eyes at Joshua or refuse to hear his side. Joshua, I'd actually love it if Ethan and his crew made at least a statement correcting this ongoing narrative. My DMs and emails are open if they are interested." Later retweeting this with, "A simple statement would be more than enough from the H3 podcast. I'm not looking for anyone to roll out the red carpet for me. I just hope people will take Johnny's smear campaign against me seriously enough to care about how his false claims could damage my life and employment." Reply from Olivia: "Please check your Instagram DMs. Olivia, I believe, does work for the H3 podcast. I do think in the context of what Johnny did and how H3 has not helped this, Ethan or Healer both need to actually be the ones to address this directly. They are, after all, the face of this, and the false allegations from Johnny are quite defamatory, inflammatory. In a legal sense, they are quite volatile and could get him into a mountain of trouble. But as is often the case on social media, when people make these accusations of grooming especially, they do it because they want to poison the well as much as possible to go to the extreme of damage done to a person's livelihood, family, friends, their entire existence. And it is a form of poisoning the well. It is done by the weak-minded because they're not clever enough to simply tackle an issue with any level of intellectual honesty. Motives are typically within the ballpark of bad faith, solely for clicks and for extra money. I should perhaps give a little context because I haven't mentioned Johnny Silvestri in any previous videos. Johnny Silvestri has quite a small channel on YouTube, rose to notoriety with a video titled "There's More to the Story, My Experience with Colleen Ballinger," and then putting out a video titled "Let's Talk About Joshua David Evans," reacting to the toxic gossip train and Dear Trisha and Colleen. These videos all did exceedingly well for a very small channel, but in all that content, there are lies. Johnny Silvestri has done interviews and told more lies. The damage done and potential harm to future for Joshua David Evans, even from a channel of this size, can be quite extreme. And it doesn't matter how big or small your channel is, really. Your voice is just as important as anyone else's. But when you intentionally go out of your way to peddle lies, whilst simultaneously partaking in the very things you accuse others of partaking in, while also breaking a whole number of laws concerning revenge porn, one does have to wonder what on earth is going through your pea-sized brain. Now, somebody had subtweeted Joshua's statement by saying, first of all, it's reckless. Second, while I'm glad Swoop gave Josh the vindication he deserves in regards to his relationship with Johnny, he not only participated in inappropriate behavior by his own admission, but he's now usurping the conversation to make it about himself. Retweeted by Xylee. He got called a groomer with no evidence at all, by a man who keeps changing his story depending on who he talks to, doctored evidence, and couldn't give a straight answer to save his damn life. I don't understand how he is usurping the conversation. For the Johnny bit, I think he has every right to tweet how he feels. Like, what? Will it be usurping the conversation when Swoop comes out with the interview with him? Come on, man. Multiple things, people's stories can be wrong at the exact same time about the exact same subject. Also, not everything has to be straight up one person, one line, one timeline. There are multiple stories going on at the same time. No one story is more important than the other because all involved have been affected differently. That is not to scale it and say one is more severe than the other. This narrow-mindedness is astonishing, and the false equivalence involved is also dishonest. The person who tweeted that did eventually delete it, but did also go on to say, honestly, if I read this from someone else, I would be as frustrated with me as y'all are. At first I was thinking they're misconstruing what I'm saying, but you're not. This was a garbage take from me, period. When the first wave of the Colleen situation happened, I made it clear that the victims have the right to speak on it as long and as loudly as they wanted. This take was hypocritical, which I will admit is a very fair assessment and humbling, something rarely seen on social media these days. I do want to make one last point. There are many different facets to this, and some of it requires a lot more information, which is why I'll link Swoop's videos down below. If you have many hours available, I highly recommend, for the sake of context, you watch them. If you have inserted yourself into a conversation, and in doing so have done so to make it seem like you are either more important than you really are to the story, spin a narrative where you are even greater a victim than you claim to be, to throw others under the bus under the guise of, well, they're clearly much worse than anyone else, poisoning the well essentially, using bad faith and gaslighting as suitable tactics to drive a non-existent point home that you have fabricated. You are a shit person, 100%. Additionally, if you have no leg to stand on because you yourself have partaken in the very things you accuse others of doing, while your point could have some validity, since it's also a lie anyway, you are even shittier, and you have broken laws in the process. Trisha Paytas deserves to be heard as well, by the way, and she has actually put out a video replying to Swoop, talking about this. Her content was made for adults. Why was it shared to children?
What we're going to do now is continue the story of others involved, like Johnny Silvestri, to get us to a point where we are now, and we're then going to discuss what Miranda has been doing since the video titled Hi that is still playing on my screen down here. Adam McIntyre put out a video titled The Arrogance of Johnny Silvestri. It is 25 minutes long and is quite conclusive. Johnny gets smacked down, quite frankly. I'm going to play a short clip of that because Johnny has his own interpretation of how to cope when called out for really crappy behavior as a crisis actor.
And he could have even said, I thought he was going to say, you know, I believed that I was groomed. I believed that I was a victim. And maybe I allowed myself to be too influenced. And Swip put that into perspective for me today, and I'm going to take some time away from the internet. I thought that that's what he was going to do. It's not him coming forward and being like, I lied, but it's him being like, oh, maybe I took things out of context, and maybe I got, you know, I was going to say got swept up in things, but that's not really the right word to use. Got swept up in things. And I thought that that's what he was going to do. And I felt that that would have been the perfect thing for him to say, and then left. You know, because then there's not this back and forth, and there's not this argument, and there's not this arrogance, and there's not this denial. And that is exactly what has happened. And obviously I have Johnny blocked, and Johnny blocked me after that, which is just like, I mean, beat you to it. I was planning on doing it for weeks, and I had already beat you to it, but shout out Johnny.
At time of recording, after being called out by the likes of Swoop and Adam McIntyre, Johnny Silvestri has, for the sake of it, been inactive properly since July 4th, 2023. Because of what Johnny Silvestri did, one does have to include Johnny Silvestri in this story. But we will now move on from that to instead talk about other tweets, other things, and make sure we've got everything as tight as we can have it before we get to the end. Joshua Evans on Twitter. I know the truth is coming out, and it shows me in a better light than the last 8 years. But still, I'm used to the worst always happening. I'm used to people mocking me, my pain, or never considering how things are affecting me. It all feels surreal right now. I feel so low. Reply. I have a feeling you're going to get bombarded with love, apologies, and tons of sympathy that should have been shown to you all along. Not that it makes any of it better, easier, of course, but you deserve the support. Reply. I'm afraid of what they'll do. She's so calculating and can ruin me all over again. Being on camera was so hard for me to do. I'm incredibly anxious about it all, but proud that I stuck to my guns, trying to build some confidence. Adam McIntyre retweeted this with, Josh, let me tell you something. As someone who is directly involved in the calculations from her and being fed a narrative of how to take you down, discredit you, that climate doesn't exist anymore, nor should it in the first place. Everyone sees through it. Those who have fed the information and those who took the information and ran. Sending love, and you've got this. At this point, towards the end of August 2023, most people are vehemently against Colleen Ballinger's manipulative behaviours. And after many years of being tarred and feathered for the wrong reasons, Joshua David Evans is well within his right to air his concerns about how he could be treated, considering how he has been treated and how it was all built on a lie. Swoop, who did the interview with Joshua David Evans, had to put out a statement on Twitter concerning Johnny Silvestri on the 23rd of August, saying, just clarifying a detail. Upon learning about his chats with minors, I gave Johnny the courtesy of a private call and explained all we had found on July 20th. He said it was wrong and inappropriate. I asked him to take accountability and he refused. It has been a month since that call. That was my 4th interview with him for a total of 7 hours and 22 minutes. With me and my team. That is an exhaustive amount of time. He was not honest with me and thus is not entitled to interview with my team any further. We are not here to be exploited. He had on the 12th of August tweeted out, I just know part 3 of Swoop's documentary is going to be a whirlwind. Let's all collectively mentally prepare. Considering his crisis actor behaviour, he could have undone so much of what was being brought to light with his false allegations and blind support. Not long after this, the Streamies took place, an award ceremony I'm sure many people don't actually care about in the slightest. However, during this award ceremony, Miranda Sings was made fun of multiple times.
You know, it'd be wrong of us if we didn't take a minute to slow things down and truly acknowledge that it's been a tough year. That's why we thought it would be appropriate to put together the first ever Streamys in Memoriam. But it was the tragic loss of this one thing that truly hit the creator community the hardest. Something whose train unfortunately left the station with one ill-advised 10-minute long video. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Looks like someone knows how to apologize.
At time of recording on the 10th of October 2023, Johnny Silvestri's story is all but concluded. He has not been active on YouTube, Twitter, or any social media for that matter. The last thing he put out was a statement, and I'm going to read it. As it does fit in with the whole Miranda story, it is appropriate we keep this story, I don't know, the timeline accurate? Yeah, that? Sure. Betrayed is an understatement. My trauma was used against me today in a way I had never imagined would happen. I was given guidance and a safe space to share my story. I was praised for being so vulnerable and honest, only to be defamed on such a gross level. It feels beyond explanation right now. I feel so hurt and disregarded. Swoop, you claim to stand for victims, and what you did today is the polar opposite. You have no regard for my life and the trauma I've faced, my safety or the safety of many others involved. You've completely shifted the narrative while making sure to promote your merch and fabricate a story for some extra revenue. I am so beyond disgusted by all of this. I'm not going to sit here and defend myself to every one of your heinous allegations about me via Notes app, but I will be making a proper statement regarding all of these disgusting and false statements. This is 100% character assassination and I won't stand for it. Swoop, you encouraged me and made me feel like you were a massive source of trust. You chose to interview Adam about allegations regarding me rather than talking to me, which for starters is scummy. You wanted information at your request as if I wasn't working full-time and in the process of moving, which I was upfront about. You can call names and spread your lies, but I know my truth and I will not stop sharing it because of people like you. As Swoop has confirmed, she reached out, you were spoken to, you clearly lie. Moving on. On September 14th, 2023, Swoop put out the Colleen Ballinger X Tells All interview with Joshua David Evans. In this, we found out that Joshua David Evans actually reached out to Swoop, and that many outlets since June have been reaching out to him for comment on Colleen, and of course, what had happened to him. Whether it be him losing everything, Shane Dawson taking accountability, and Swoop finished the video by talking about Johnny Silvestri as well. It is a 3-hour, 40-minute interview, and it is well worth the watch. I cannot, for fair use reasons, play that video here. I would love to play parts of it, but it would be out of context and very wrong of me to do so. So I'm going to link it in the pinned comment down below. On the 13th of September 2023, JoJo Siwa appeared on the Howie Mandel Does Stuff podcast. Howie had asked JoJo direct whether or not she was still friends with Colleen Ballinger, with JoJo saying, "Yeah, I've known Colleen since I was 12. That sounds appropriate. She's always been nothing but kind to me. The internet can take a lie and run so far with it that it's to the point where you just can't do anything about it." She explained that due to the amount of time they spent together, she'd come to know Colleen very, very well, acknowledging that the number of years Colleen has been active on the internet by saying, "I think the work Colleen has done for the internet is incredible. Miranda Sings, her character, is a comedian, and I think that it's very hard to be a character where people are also looking at you as you're a real human behind the character. Being a comedian is very hard, because you were able to do things years ago that were okay, and now that we've grown and matured, we've realized they're not okay. Problem is, the internet was able to capitalize off her cancellation, and it's not okay, and a lot of it is based off of lies." This was not well received by the internet, because in 2020, Colleen had put out an apology where she addressed all the bad things she'd done up to that point. This included Adam McIntyre, or some of it, not all of it, because it turns out Adam had brought to light other allegations, with fact to back it up. And what did Colleen do to address the accusations? She picked up a ukulele and started singing about the toxic gossip train, which went down like a lump of lead. She has been inactive on social media because of that video, because she handled it so poorly. JoJo taking the stance of defending her friend blindly and fobbing it off as they're just lying speaks volumes about the blind spot JoJo Siwa has for her friend Colleen, and a complete lacking critical thought, all under the guise of, "Oh well, they're just trying to cancel her, therefore they're in the wrong, not her." It is worth adding, JoJo Siwa and Colleen made a number of videos together, because that friendship, which I find highly inappropriate on the face of it, spawned a number of collaborative videos on YouTube. Evangelina Skov made a 41-minute video going through this relationship, this friendship, and she quite adequately conveys just how inappropriate this was. This would include, in certain skits with the character Miranda Sings, JoJo doing the splits, while doing some stretches and Miranda sings making inquiries about an area of JoJo's body hitting the floor. Evangelina believes, and I tend to agree with her, that one of the reasons this was overlooked was because Miranda sings, or Colleen Ballinger, is a woman, and there is a level of preferential treatment towards women, and as Evangelina pointed out in her rather lengthy video, Shane Dawson got hammered for this, because he's been done for similar-ish things. I'm not going to falsely equate the two, they're different situations, but there is a comparison that can be made by all of us, with an IQ over 1, so just not the people involved apparently. The most viewed part of Evangelina's video is around 29 minutes in. That's not to say the rest is not worth watching, it really is, but at 29 minutes until 33 minutes, this is the most replayed part, and there's a good reason for it. I'm going to play that now so you have the context.
Now in his 2019 one, JoJo Siwa was there, along with Colleen Ballinger and Rachel Ballinger. What's notable is that, to my knowledge, and from what I could see of this, JoJo Siwa was the only person there who was under the age of 18. Everybody else was an adult. It was an adult's Christmas party. I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't know everybody there, but I believe at the time James Charles would have been the youngest person there. He would have been, I think, 20. Firstly, it's weird enough that she is the only child at this party. Now you could argue it's a work event, but I would argue back, if my child, for some, I don't know in what scenario this would happen, but if my child had to go to a work event full of adults, I feel like Colleen Ballinger is in the room with me or something. That was hideous.
For the sake of fair use, I do have to insert myself now before we go back to continuing with Evangelina's video, because it's vital to understand what the organic and genuine response would be to how inappropriate this is.
So in this strange scenario where for some reason my child has to be at a work event with a ton of adults and only adults at a Christmas party, I am going to be there in the room. I am not leaving you alone with a bunch of adults. Presumably, Colleen and Rachel were the adults in charge of her. Presumably. I have no confirmation of that, but I believe that that was more than likely the case. And that's all well and good. I guess her parents trusted them. But from what we've seen, it doesn't appear like they were acting like parental figures of some kind.
To further prove the point of how inappropriate this party would be for a child to be in attendance of, while also pointing out that if you're having a family party, it's not the same and cannot be compared to that of a bunch of YouTubers' party. There's a gift-giving part, but it's not a gift-giving per se, it's taking and stealing, it's a thing, yeah? And some of the gifts were highly inappropriate. Yes, I believe that was in her direction, but there were other gifts others had gotten that were adult toys. Indulge me if you will, what would have happened had JoJo gotten that instead? Would we have laughed and fobbed that off?
Joey Graceffa does this thing called the White Elephant Gifts, which is where everybody or whoever wants to join in will bring a gift. And it'll all get put under the tree, and then people will just take them at random, and they can steal them off each other. There's like a limit on how many times you can steal them. JoJo ended up with some donuts in the end, and a lot of the gifts were like normal things, kitchenware, clothes, skincare products. But among them was some alcohol, which is not the biggest deal, she would just give it to somebody else. But there was also adult toys as a gift.
Daniel's mom could have got all the toys.
Which, what was the plan if JoJo ended up with one of those? What was the plan there? Had they considered that? And I'm not stupid, I know that teenagers know what this stuff is, but again, there's a big difference between teenagers discussing this stuff among themselves and a teenager being at a party with a bunch of adults where she gets this as a gift. Thankfully, that doesn't seem to have happened. All in all, though, it was a very inappropriate situation for this child.
This video will be linked in the pinned comment down below, and I highly recommend you watch the entire thing, because it does shine and raise awareness to another aspect of Colleen Ballinger's life that I find quite irritating. And I'm sure many people agree, because it's not a good look for her. It really isn't. On the 5th of October 2023, a YouTube channel belonging to Colleen Ballinger's brother and his wife left a comment on one of their recent posts defending JoJo Siwa. The Ballinger family YouTube channel, run by Chris and Jessica, responded to a comment where someone had written, "Yikes, JoJo, hope James isn't there. I'm just so disappointed. I've been watching your video since Parker was little and I just can't support this behaviour. Being surrounded by people who are problematic makes me sad." In response, they said, "It is sad to me how caught up people get in online gossip. JoJo is a lovely person. She has a huge heart, a dedication to bringing joy to others and an absolutely brilliant mind. James wasn't there. I haven't seen him in years, but I wish him well. We've entered into a new sad era where it is more profitable to complain about and destroy other humans than to lift them up. The best quote I've heard about this experience is, "If you have a problem with me, call me. If you don't have my number, then you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me." Instead of being concerned about all the people supporting JoJo, perhaps consider that they know her on a human level rather than parasocial opinions. I do see that you are upset about all of the things you now believe about strangers, so I do applaud your decision to unsubscribe. Our intention is to provide a happy space, and if this isn't that for you, then I'm glad you are aware of that and have made that boundary for yourself. I do really encourage you to look at your engagement with gossip culture with the same scrutiny though. It is likely having a more negative impact on you than you seem to realise. Thank you for all the years of support, heart emoji. The family channel has continued to be active since all this happened, because they're kind of removed for the most part from Colleen's actions, although she does link them on her homepage. In another post, the Ballinger family channel wrote, "All I see is alleged, not proof. If there is proof, then I hope it is taken to proper authorities and managed accordingly." Now, we don't actually know what comment they're responding to with that. In speaking about allegations, the family also seemingly brought up another family member, Trent. Although Trent is not named and it's not clear to whom or what the family is responding to, the last comment in the thread on the family's YouTube video says, "I absolutely support anyone with incriminating info to bring it to the authorities. There is a personal nuance as to his level of developmental delay, but he's not someone that I had had contact with or will have my kids have contact with since learning about his behaviour several months ago. We also discussed with the kids, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah." But where this ties into Trent is that others believe that this ties into him because Trent was alleged to have sent a series of inappropriate messages to an individual called Oliver when they were 13 years old. Oliver, not Trent, being 13 by the way. So I guess you could infer apple far tree here. Not so far at all when you really think about it. For the sake of what the Colleen family YouTube channel does, it would have been wiser for them never to go near this at all, because in the online space, while they talk about it being gossip culture, cancel culture, really it's accountability and consequences. And by involving themselves, they risk now poisoning their own fan base by taking a side when it would be safer for them to continue to prosper, to not involve themselves at all. But then again, I guess some people really can't keep their mouths shut, can they? Not when they're blindly following the other blind lemmings off the cliff edge.
Rosanna Pansino has been in a lot of conversations over the last few weeks. She's addressing questions that she's received about what kind of terms she's on with Colleen Ballinger, and she wants to let everybody know that she's no longer in communication with her. It definitely did feel a little random that she was suddenly tweeting this out, but we'll get into why I think she was bringing this up now. But in terms of Rosanna and how she ties into all of this is that she recently decided to put a statement out about Colleen and what had been said about Colleen and the terms that she's on with her.
The clip you just heard was from the YouTube channel Spill Sesh, and Rosanna only really got some notoriety of late because she called out Mr. Beast. It backfired magnificently. Well, kind of. She got more views at least-ish, kind of, partially. That's good, right? Yes. Anyway, I've interjected for copyright reasons. Spill Sesh is going to read the statement.
She recently tweeted out, addressing your questions about Colleen, and it's these two statements in which she says, "The whole situation makes me feel sad and breaks my heart. I'm still processing my feelings. I do believe that the behavior was inappropriate, mean-spirited, and I no longer communicate with her. I found out when everyone else did, perhaps even later. I am not said anything publicly for a few reasons. One, I do not have any new information or insight to add. I never personally witnessed that kind of behavior, wasn't aware of it, nor did I participate. My memories of our time together were with family and was very wholesome. My nephew adored her son, and they loved playing together. Obviously, I don't support or condone the behavior that was made public. Two, I feel that the most important thing in this situation is that the affected people's voices are heard, which I believe they now are. Three, I like to hear both sides when possible. While it's easy to jump onto the side of public opinion, I was hoping for some sort of apology or explanation at some point, which hasn't happened."
One thing that Rosanna actually mentions is that you need to hear both sides. The thing about this is, it's quite irritating, is Miranda hasn't really provided one beyond the Toxic Gossip Train song, which is still up. That's some commitment right there. So while I would also like to hear both sides, the evidence is quite damning. Add to that, with what we now know, and it being so damning, you would expect Miranda to possibly just apologize. That was all that was required at the start. But no, Toxic Gossip Train had to happen, so the internet decided, rightly, to hammer Miranda even further for it.
And I think the reason why she felt this fire under her to come out and address Colleen is because of the fact that there was all this Mr. Beast stuff that was going on and she was getting some backlash for it. And so then people started to bring up other aspects of her life, like Colleen, and were wondering the status of their friendship or if there was even a friendship because they had been friendly in the past. And I think with all of this noise surrounding her name, she just wanted to finally come out and just talk about Colleen.
The only other video I've seen, because I've yet to see Miranda at time of recording, we're near the end of November at this point, by the way, folks, and I have to upload this at some point, came from a YouTube channel called Radiant Brit, where in that video, they spoke at great length about the fact that there is a chance Colleen could be demonetized. Now, this is because if you don't upload regularly, at least within a 6-month period, you lose your monetization. Simple as that. She also spoke about Trisha and why Trisha spoke out. Totally valid reasons. It's actually a really good video. Highly recommend you look up Radiant Brit, unless Radiant Brit sees this, in which case, go follow, subscribe, gives them the subs. I'll link the video in the pinned comment. So where is Colleen now? No one has a clue, but I do think Colleen will come back to YouTube at some point soon. She has to keep her channel going. Whether she cares enough or not, I'm not entirely sure. Whether she can just live off what she's got, I again don't know for certain. But for the sake of it, she still gets tens of thousands of views daily on the Colleen Vlogs YouTube channel. The Colleen Ballinger channel, also tens of thousands of views. It's not huge amounts, but these channels do actually get some attention. So there is enough activity that there is an income there anyway. Nowhere near the levels it used to be at, but rewatchability generally does seem to go the way of the dinosaurs when you caught enough controversy. Colleen only had to do it once with the song Toxic Gossip Train. And no, I'm not ignoring what she's been in trouble for in the past. Of course not. The recent one, fascinating. Curious to see what she does in 2024 now. Not that that matters in the slightest. Hi, future Meg here, editing this bleeding video yet again, because I'd uploaded all of it to YouTube, wasted a lot of time getting it through the monetization process. On the 19th of November 2023, Colleen Ballinger on the Colleen Vlogs YouTube channel posted a fall vlog. It is 13 minutes long, but only a very small part of it matters. It has 27,000 upvotes and 51,000 downvotes at time of recording, also on the 19th. The reason I'm uploading this fairly early and releasing it in December is because I've got to get it through YouTube's monetization system, and that takes at least 2 weeks because they're useless. This led to Colleen Ballinger trending on Twitter with some of the more notable tweets. Colleen really needs to have a thorough psych eval cause ain't no way she's serious. Colleen Ballinger just made another response update to everything, including her original apology about that word. Instead of using the ukulele though, she cooks. It's overall a better response, which isn't hard to achieve but still memeable and just rough. Thoughts? Included a 28-second clip from the vlog video.
Obviously, the last video that I posted on here, it's really embarrassing to say the least. I was being accused of some pretty awful things and I just was mad, and I should have handled that situation with maturity and empathy, but instead I just let my ego take over, and I'm really disappointed in myself. So here's what I want to say.
Colleen Ballinger's returning to YouTube as soon as the highest vlogger AdSense season is about to start. I would point out with this, October, November and December are the best, but they do build up towards December. And you're quite right, I fully expect Sniper Wolf also to have her AdSense return in the very near future, towards the end of November. After 6 months, Colleen Ballinger basically said the victims are worth 3 minutes of her time. Really think about how effed that is. 3 minutes. After endless evidence and videos, 3 effing minutes. Perhaps we should play a little bit of Colleen's video to get the grander scope and context of the earlier clip I already played.
Over the last 15 years of my career, there have been moments where I was immature and inappropriate in my comedy, and there were times when I not put enough thought into some of my fan interactions, and because of that behavior, people got hurt, and I am so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I did, and I feel so terrible about that. I also feel like there's probably people who are disappointed or feel abandoned by me because of my silence over the last few months, and I'm so sorry about that as well. I needed to take time to make sure I was listening and learning as much as possible, and I also needed to get the help that I needed to be okay.
A lot of people railed Colleen Ballinger on Twitter because they don't believe that this version of an apology is sincere, because the first 3 minutes are devoted to this, the rest is a vlog. While I'm not going to be the judge of the sincerity aspect, the focusing on the apology at the start was better than many YouTube apologies, and obviously a massive improvement on the toxic gossip train. Seeking to admit one is seeking help and directly apologizing to anyone negatively impacted is a good start. It really is, but whether that is sincere is down to the court of public opinion that are voting 2-1 downvote.
I'm a mom first and foremost before anything else, and I needed to take care of my kids, so that's where I've been. And but I'm back and I'm here now, and I am not a perfect person, and there are plenty of things in my past that I wish I could go back and redo and fix and change. I don't have control over any of that, and I don't have control over the things people say about me. I only have control over my actions moving forward. So I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that I create a positive, kind, inclusive, safe space online with my content.
I've always held the belief that there is no one person who can truly say they are free from any form of mistake. Every human has baggage of some kind. You can't all be me, Cthulhu-kin and godlike. So do people deserve a chance to right that wrong? That is again down to the court of public opinion, who have different moral compasses. Whether second or last chances are granted is up to them. For me, it means nothing. Your actions will be the only thing that really determine what you as a creator will be remembered for. Granted, you now will be more likely remembered less for Miranda Sings and the Netflix shows and all your performances on stage, and probably more than likely for the toxic gossip train, which I still think you should make money off. I think it's funny. Seriously, go make your bread. You need it to feed them kids, right?
And if you want to be a part of my journey online, I would love to have you, and if not, I completely understand. I do not expect anyone to welcome me back with open arms. I don't expect to change anyone's mind with this video. I just wanted to come on here and say that I'm sorry, and I wanted to try to show people that it's possible for someone to grow and learn and be better after making mistakes many, many years ago. So that's what I'm going to do.
I do not believe I need to play the rest of this statement to make the point. What can appear to be a form of sincerity, that's the point. Appearing to be, you have to be skeptical enough. Again, actions will speak louder than her words. Also, the remainder of her video, 10 minutes of it, is a vlog, or her learning to again. I don't care about that in the slightest, really. I'm more intrigued with the intro statement. This is the end, I'm going to have to render this again, of 2023 for Colleen Ballinger. Do let me know what you think in comments. Thanks for sticking around, folks. If you haven't already, though, smash the like. This one's a long one. It's got loads of things. It took time.